Hello guys, welcome to my channel Chem Insider. So in today's class we are going to discuss more about the structure of atom topic, which is of the class 11. So in this video we are going to discuss about a new model of an atom, that is quantum model of an atom. Before going to quantum model of an atom, we need to discuss certain points where Bohr's model of an atom completely failed to explain certain physical phenomena. Like for example, if you consider Bohr's model of an atom, he said that an electron present in an atom will be rotating around the nucleus in a circular orbit, right? So if you consider circular orbit, so if I say this is a nucleus of the given atom and this is the circular orbit of electron, so he said that electron will be revolving around the nucleus in a certain circular orbit. But in the previous video we have discussed about Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, right, in which he said that for a microscopic atom or a microscopic particle, we cannot describe or determine the position and momentum of an electron exactly, right? So we cannot determine the exact position and momentum simultaneously. So, and further we also discussed that if we have to know its path of motion, we need to know its position and velocity at that particular point. So, as we know position, momentum and velocity, all these three quantities cannot be, if you cannot determine position and velocity exactly. So if you don't know the position and velocity exactly, then you can't exactly predict the path of that electron's motion. So therefore, Bohr's model atom failed to explain how did he explain the path of the electron revolving around the nucleus, because he did not consider the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. So by the help of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, we can say that the path which was explained by Bohr for the revolution of electron around the nucleus is not valid. And second point, Bohr did not consider the wave-like nature of electron. He did not explain the wave-like nature of electron. He just considered electron as a particle. Okay. And in the third point, he did not explain the discrete lines. If you consider this as the hydrogen spectrum, so there were certain discrete lines present in the hydrogen spectrum, which was because of either of the applied magnetic field, that is splitting of these spectral lines because of magnetic field, which was called as Zeeman effect. Splitting of the hydrogen line spectrum on applying magnetic field, which was called as the Zeeman effect, and then splitting of the same magnetic field, same spectra because of the applied electric field. So when magnetic field or electric field is applied for the observed hydrogen spectrum, we observed certain discrete patterns of splitting. Bohr's model did not explain that splitting possible because of either Zeeman effect or Stark effect. If you are observed this in case of electric field, that is called Stark effect. If you are observing the splitting in because of applied magnetic field, then that particular effect is called Zeeman effect. So clearly Bohr did not consider the dual behavior of a matter such as particles. So we can say that Bohr's model of an atom cannot be used for applying particular structure of an atom in order to determine newer elements or atoms. So therefore what we have to know here is we cannot continue with Bohr's model of an atom in order to study structure of multi-electron systems. So this Bohr's model completely was depending upon the classical mechanics of physics, which was depending completely upon the Newton's laws of motion. So therefore later scientists called Schrödinger and Heisenberg put forth a new type of mechanics called the quantum mechanics. They give away a new type of mechanics in order to explain the properties of microscopic particles. So that is, if you are to discuss about the macroscopic level, you can easily consider the classical laws of physics or classical mechanics of physics. But in order to know, that is Newton's laws of motion completely explain the path or energy or force of an atom, which are macroscopic in level, which are big in size. it does not clearly explain the position or momentum of etc. of a smaller atoms. So therefore, Schrödinger and Heisenberg came forth with a new theory in which they discussed the complete mechanics of a microscopic objects. So quantum mechanics helps us in studying microscopic objects properties, that is properties of microscopic objects. In order to learn about the properties of the microscopic objects, Schrödinger and Heisenberg put forth a new theory of mechanics that is called the quantum mechanics. Further, if you apply the same quantum mechanics on the macroscopic objects, where the macroscopic objects were just considered as particles but not as waves, so that also was explained under the quantum mechanics. So what I mean is, quantum mechanics explain both wave and particle nature of microscopic objects, and also just explain the wave nature of classical mechanics, because classical mechanics only considered about the macroscopic objects. Those macroscopic objects usually have a particle nature but not wave nature. Quantum mechanics explain both particle and wave nature of microscopic objects, and the same quantum mechanics when applied on the macroscopic level objects, it explained the particle nature of the macroscopic levels objects also, which was in correlation with the classical mechanics. So therefore, from then on, we started to use quantum mechanics in order to study structure of an atom. So Schrödinger and Heisenberg, using that quantum mechanics, gave a new model for the structure of an atom called quantum model of an atom. So they gave a new model for an atom structure that is called quantum model of an atom. Quantum model of an atom. So this is about the quantum model's introduction. So how did they came across this is, if you consider a macroscopic object, classical mechanics only explains the macroscopic level object but not the microscopic properties of certain microscopic objects. So therefore, Schrödinger and Heisenberg put forth a new theory of quantum mechanics which was used to explain the properties of microscope level objects also. So how did they explain that exactly? So Schrödinger in the year 1933 gave a new relation in order to explain the wave character of microscopic level. We all know that is a particle nature, electrons having particle nature. So just they have to explain the wave nature of microscopic level. So therefore, Schrödinger gave a new equation or a relation which is given by the expression h cap of psi is equal to E psi. H cap of psi is equal to E psi, where this h cap is a mathematical operator. H cap is called the mathematical operator known as Hamiltonian operator. It is a mathematical operator named after its scientist Hamiltonian. So this is called Hamiltonian operator, where psi is the wave function. We'll learn more about this wave function later. So psi is wave function, E is total energy. So Schrödinger in the year 1930 won Nobel Prize for explaining this particular equation. So this equation is called Schrödinger's wave equation. So what does he explain here is, when you carry out a certain Hamiltonian operator on wave function, that wave function on carrying out a Hamiltonian operator gives wave function in terms of total energy. When Hamiltonian operator is operated on a wave function of an electron, that is wave function we'll learn more later, we'll get understood later. So when operating a wave function on the Hamiltonian operator on a wave function, we get total energy function depending upon the wave terms. So total energy of a function will be depending upon the wave factor. So what is this total energy then? So here what happens is, in order to know the wave-like character of an electron, we need to decide about the photon energy. So if you consider the examples of photoelectric effect, right? Photoelectric effect, if you consider the photoelectric effect nature, so where the photoelectric effect, in order to be electron to be emitted, it had to have certain amount of threshold energy. So while it is bombarded with the threshold energy of photon, they started to acquire some amount of kinetic energy, right? So that kinetic energy will also be observed over here. So this total energy of electron will be equal to the kinetic energy of kinetic energy of both electron and nuclei. Kinetic energy of both electron and nuclei. Along with that, it had potential energy. It had potential energy which were in respect with three causes. One is because of attraction between electron and nuclei. Attraction between electron and nuclei has certain amount of energy. One will be that potential energy. The other one is repulsion between electron and electron, and the other one is repulsion between nuclei and nuclei. So using these certain energies, Schrödinger explained that total energy of an electron is depending upon both electrons' kinetic. Total energy of an atom depends upon kinetic energy of electron and nuclei, and then the potential energy, which is defined on the basis of attraction between electron and nuclei, repulsion between two electrons, and then repulsion between two nuclei. So using this complete explanation, he considered the energy of wave function. Okay, so this is about how Schrödinger explained the quantum mechanics in order to know the properties of microscopic level. So what did he explain here is, he explained just nothing but the energy involved in an electron at a microscopic level, which was very hard for Bohr to explain without considering them as a wave particle. So here he used that wave particle nature in order to explain the energy associated with an electron, defined in terms of wave function. So in order to know what is wave function, let us consider an atom of hydrogen, which we both used to explain. So if you consider hydrogen atom and it has certain electrons present in it, let us say it has just one electron, right? So hydrogen has one electron in it. If we consider one electron system of hydrogen, so clearly Schrödinger said that each of the wave function will be associated with certain amount of energy, right? So this will be in relation with one another. So each of the wave function will be associated with certain amount of energy, and that energy will be particular for each particular energy level. That is, a certain energy level of wave function, that is a certain wave function, will be associated with the energy, and that wave function will be called as energy level. So wave function which is associated with energy according to the Schrödinger wave equation is called as energy level, and that is where we are going to find our electron. So that is where an electron can occupy. So electron can occupy a level which is nothing but the wave function in terms of energy, which is called the energy level of electron. So once you determine the energy level of electron, he explained that if you solve this Schrödinger wave equation of h cap of psi, which is equals to E of psi, if you solve this h cap of psi is equal to E of psi according to quantum mechanics, we come across three quantum numbers. Those are, first one, principal quantum number denoted by the symbol small n, then azimuthal quantum number denoted by the symbol L, and next is magnetic quantum number denoted by the symbol ML. So if you solve the equation of Schrödinger equation, if you solve the Schrödinger wave equation, then you'll define the solution in terms of three quantum numbers. You will define the solution in terms of three quantum numbers. Those are principal quantum number denoted by the symbol N, azimuthal quantum number denoted by the symbol L, magnetic quantum number denoted by the symbol ML. So using these three values of quantum number, we can define the position of electron in the given energy level. So that energy level position we cannot exactly mention, or we cannot exactly determine the position or momentum, because quantum mechanics follows Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, right? So why did we consider Bohr's as a failure? It did not consider the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, but quantum mechanics follows Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Therefore the position and momentum of electron according to quantum mechanics is also cannot be determined exactly. So therefore, in order to explain the position of an electron, in order to explain the position of an electron or in order to find the position of an electron, we came across a new expression called probability of finding an electron. That is probability of finding electron. Probability of finding electron. So as we know, it is very hard to determine the exact position. Now we can just guess the probability of finding an electron in a given wave function. So if you consider energy level of an electron, which is denoted by the symbol psi, then probability of finding the electron in this wave function, probability of finding an electron in this wave function energy level is equal to magnitude of psi square. Magnitude of psi square. If psi is your energy level of the wave function, then probability of finding electron in that wave function is given by the formula probability is equal to magnitude of psi square, and this is always positive. So magnitude means nothing but if you are getting a negative value, you will be considering it as a positive, because once you square any negative or positive value, you will always get a positive value, right? So therefore, whenever you have to find the probability of finding an electron in the given energy level, that will be equal to magnitude of wave function energy level square. So energy level of a wave function's square. So that is called as probability density. So this is called as probability density. So probability density is nothing but the probability of finding an electron in a given wave function or energy level of atom. So therefore, the energy level of atom which has a higher probability is called atomic orbitals. That is, atomic orbitals are the wave function of an atom, where finding an electron is maximum. Probability of finding an electron is maximum. So atomic orbital is defined as the wave function of an energy level, where the probability of finding an electron is maximum. Atomic orbital is nothing but the wave function of an energy level where probability of finding an electron is maximum. For monoatomic system, monoelectronic system, this is also called as one electron orbital, one electron system orbital, one electron system orbital. So now, what is atomic orbital? It is the wave function of an energy level at which the probability of finding an electron is maximum. And if you are considering for atom, it is called atomic orbital. Okay, it is also called as, if you are considering for one electron system, this atomic orbital is also said as one electron system's orbital. Okay, so this is about the hydrogen and its respective wave function using Schrodinger wave equations solution. So we have three quantum numbers which defines the solution of wave function of Schrodinger wave equation. Those are principal quantum number given by the symbol n, azimuthal quantum number given by the symbol L, and magnetic quantum number given by the symbol ml. Here for hydrogen atom, n is the factor which defines the position of electron or the level of energy level of electron. Okay, n is the number which defines the position or energy level of an electron to be found, and the probability of finding an electron is given by magnitude of psi square, and the maximum probability is called the atomic orbital level. That is, wave function of an energy level where finding the probability of finding an electron is maximum is called atomic orbital. Depends upon n. So now if you have to consider for a multi-electron system, that is non-hydrogen like system, then the solution of a Schrodinger wave equation and the energy level of a given multi-electron system depends upon two factors or two quantum numbers. Those are n and L. Okay, remember for one electron system such as a hydrogen or hydrogen like system, the energy level is explained on the basis of n, that is a principal quantum number. For any different other numbers, it is defined on the basis of both principal and azimuthal quantum number. So next we'll discuss about certain features of quantum model of an atom. So now we come across the last model of atom, which is now we are completely using in our present situation, that is quantum model of an atom. Quantum model of an atom. So quantum model of an atom has a certain important features. Out of this, the first one is a quantum model. For a quantum model of an atom, if you consider the wave function that is having an energy, so the energy of a wave function is always quantized. First point is energy of a wave function. Energy of a wave function is always quantized. So what do you mean by quantized? So quantized means nothing but a particular energy of electron will have to occupy a particular energy level which has a certain energy. So if you consider an energy level of n is equal to 2, then the electron should occupy that level only if it has energy equal to the energy of that level. That is, if you consider energy of a wave function, that energy of a wave function will be discretely specific, will be certainly specific of value. So energy of a particular energy level will be specific in value, and for an electron to occupy that level, it has to possess that amount of energy. So that is what the energy of wave function is always quantized mean. So energy of wave function is always quantized. That is nothing but energy has certain specific value. Certain specific value. So that is what first point says. And in the second point, if you have to find out the existence of this wave function, so if you have to find out the existence of energy level of wave function, existence of energy of wave function, so it completely depends upon existence of energy of a wave function completely depends upon the wave-like properties of electron. Existence of an energy of wave function completely depends upon wave-like character or wave-like nature of electron. Wave-like nature of electron. If you don't have wave-like electron, then the existence of energy of wave function is not at all possible, which is clearly found in case of Schrödinger wave equation. So if you consider the quantum mechanical model, quantum mechanics, Schrödinger wave equation clearly explained that electron has both wave-like and particle-like nature. So therefore, if you consider an electron, it will definitely have a wave-like nature. So if it has a wave-like nature, then there is a clear existence of energy in terms of wave function. So second point says that if you have to find out the existence of energy in terms of wave function, it completely depends upon the wave-like nature of electron, which is allowed in case of Schrödinger wave equation, Schrödinger's equation. So according to Schrödinger equation, electron has a wave-like nature. So if it has a wave-like nature, it will have a energy of wave function. And in the third point, we know that this quantum model of an atom does not determine exact position and exact momentum simultaneously. It does not determine exact momentum and exact position simultaneously. In other words, quantum model of an atom follows Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. The third point is it does not determine the exact position and momentum of an electron simultaneously. So clearly we can say that quantum model of an atom follows Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Next, for the fourth point is atomic orbital. So what is atomic orbital? That is nothing but the fourth point here. So atomic orbitals are the wave function. Atomic orbitals are the wave function of energy, of an electron, where it is to be found, or which can also say that the energy level of electron, the energy level at which electron is being occupied, that is given in terms of wave function. That wave function is called atomic orbital. So atomic orbital is nothing but the wave function of energy level where an electron is present or electron is occupied. Okay, so our atomic orbital is a wave function of energy level of an electron where it is to be found. Next, the fifth point is probability density. Since we cannot determine the exact position or momentum of an electron, we can use the probability density factor, which is nothing but the probability of finding an electron. Probability of finding an electron, which is given equal to magnitude of psi square. Probability of finding an electron, which is called the probability density, is equal to magnitude of psi square. That is, the probability of finding an electron is always positive. So these are the 5 important salient features of quantum model of an atom. Using these concepts, we determine the complete structure of an atom in a multi-electron systems also. So this ends about the quantum mechanics. In the next class, we will discuss more about the quantum model of an atom, that is nothing but especially orbitals and quantum numbers. So we have discussed about the 3 quantum numbers: principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number, and magnetic quantum number. We have one more quantum number, that is a spin quantum number, which defines the orbital shape of an atom. So we'll discuss those in the next video. I hope you have understood these concepts. So then please do subscribe to my channel, and if you have any doubts, comment down below. You can mail those doubts to me at my mail ID, which I have given you in the description box. Thank you for watching.